Hello everybody, FAI here, and welcome back to another Don't Starve video. And in today's Don't Starve video, I thought we'd start a actual in-detailed guide, probably split into two parts or multiple parts of how to survive and what to do for your first 20 days. I took quite a little bit of time recording this video, so in the end of it all, I ended up just realizing that I have to split this into multiple parts in order to actually make this a very good in detailed guide versus just a guide that, that at the end of the day, you're going to end up just kind of falling apart, or it's just going to end up feeling like like every other one of my guides that I've done. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this guide, shall we? So the first thing you want to do is, of course, consider, resources and getting all the resources that you need gathered up. In this case, you should consider looking for twigs, looking for grass, and looking for flint and flint. These are the first few items that you'll probably really want to look into at first to get yourself into a good position and get yourself started. You don't want to really realistically go into looking for other items. I mean, if you're not playing Wickford, then you also want to look for berries and food. But berries and food are really just kind of other things that you'll have to look for. These are probably going to be the first few items that you're going to be looking for at the end of the day. Of course, I am playing this on PC, so I will have the mini map. Obviously, if you're not playing this on PC, you're not going to have the armor slot that you probably see on the bottom of the tabs there, and you're not going to have the mini map. But these are little items that were good for workshop that really help improve the quality of life in Don't Starve. Now, this is going to be the Don't Starve single player version guide. So, what to do in the first 20 days of your Don't Starve single player guide. This is not going to be, a guide on Don't Starve Together, as Don't Starve Together is a little different than Don't Starve single player. But with that being said, I will meet you guys back when we get into a little bit of a different part. As right now I have to look for flint so I can build my tools, and I will meet you back once we get to the next part in this video. But for now, just remember, look for grass, twigs, maybe a little bit of food to survive. And, of course, flint. And then, I will return when we are getting to the next part of this survival guide. Alright, so we are back, and I've been looking around for a little while on finding some flint. I finally found a second piece of flint that I'm actually happy to use. So, with that being said, I'm going to start talking about the next part of the survival that we gotta get. And as you can see there, I found another piece of flint. But as you probably have noticed, I've been gathering twigs, grass, and just the basic essentials of survival, because we have to get that. So of course, first thing first, I'm gonna build myself a pickaxe, and then I'm gonna build myself an axe. Or I built an axe and then a pickaxe. But here I'm just kind of reorganizing my inventory, because we gotta reorganize our inventory, make sure that we have everything that we have or need in our inventory in our place. And with that being said, I'm gonna start going into the next part of our survival, which is gold. We're going to be now looking for rocks and gold. This is kind of the next part of our preemptive survival that we gotta be talking about. And in my opinion, you want to get at least 20 gold to start off with, 40 rocks, and of course, as much extra flint as you can gather. These are good items. Another advanced tip for those of you who are looking to survive and make the most out of your first 20 days, I would recommend you start exploring at night, which is why I would recommend having 2 torches, at most. You can have more than 2 torches, but the minimalistic idea is 2 torches. That way you can realistically explore the night without any worries. In Don't Starve single player, torches don't last as long as they do in Don't Starve Together. So, of course, keep that in mind and bear that in mind as you are exploring the map and just in general planning your survival. As you can see there, we just found a shipwreck, key piece or whatever. And, yeah, we're just going to go ahead and explore at night. Like I said, the first idea I would give you all, for those of you who are trying to explore and maybe those of you who are trying to, make the most of your first 20 days of Don't Starve, I would highly recommend that you consider exploring at night and just continuing to gather twigs, grass, and resources whenever you can, because you never know when you're going to run out of that stuff, and you never know when that stuff may come into play. Plus, like I said, by exploring at night, you will also gain yourself a good amount of map knowledge early game, and it'll give you a good idea of what you're looking for, or maybe places of interest, because, again, you're not going to have much time. The first 20 days of your first year are going to be a bit of a hectic one to get scrambled together not only your base, but also food supply and just a good, decent amount of maybe excess resources for you to use. So, my high recommendation is to, of course, explore at night, make the most of the nighttime, and just, in general, determine where you need to go rather than sitting by a fire and wasting time. But yeah, with that being said, I'm going to continue to collect resources, gather my 20 gold and 40 rocks, and I will meet you guys back as soon as I've collected the materials to move on to the next step. As I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible and as easy of a video to watch as possible, because I took a long time recording this video, longer than I expected to record. So with that being said, I will go ahead and meet you guys back and when we have run into the next step of our process, because of course gathering 20 gold, 40 rocks, and all the wood, which is about 40 wood, I would recommend 40 to 60 wood, is going to take a while to gather. So I will be meeting you back when I've gathered all the resources to move on to the next step of our first 20 days of survival. So with that being said, remember, gather 40 rocks, 20 gold, all the flint that you can, and about 40 to 60 wood. Or logs. Wood or logs. Logs are going to be essential for you to survive, so I would highly recommend that you gather 40 to 60 of them. And yeah, with that being said, I will meet you guys back when we have gathered the minimalistic supplies, and of course when I'm ready to move on to the next step. Okay, we're back. So you're probably thinking, FAI, why the heck did you cut back to here? Well, I just found Chester, so I was gathering all my materials and stuff, and I just wanted to show you all that I found Chester, because I figured you guys probably are interested in how the heck do you find Chester. If you are interested in how the heck to find Chester, all you really have to do is find that eye bone. Now, that eye bone can be anywhere on the map, but I just thought I'd cut to me finding Chester so you can see what the eye bone looks like, and maybe get an idea of that it really is anywhere on the map. So, yeah, with that being said, though, I'll go ahead and meet you guys back, of course, when I am getting close to, moving on to the next step for our building of, or, the first 20 days, so I can explain to you the next part of the first 20 days after that. So, with that being said, I'll be back in a bit, everyone. Okay, it's been a while. We're back. I finally collected all the materials I needed for the items to build our science machine. Now, once we get to this part, obviously the first thing you'll probably want to make is a backpack. I would highly recommend making a backpack just so that you can start carrying more stuff, because at this point, you're probably reaching the maximum capacity of all the items that you are probably being able to hold. So, I would highly recommend making a backpack first, and then after that, make a regular spear, or develop a rope. First, develop a rope and make a regular spear. Now, of course, you're probably thinking, why the heck would you say develop a regular spear if you're Wigfrid? Well, let's face it, at the end of the day, as Wigfrid's renewable spears, or Wigfrid spears, are not going to be as renewable as regular spears. Sure, they do more damage, and sure, Wigfrid's helmet gives more protection than any other item in the game for most other players. But in my opinion, these items are just not worthwhile. I mean, they're not as highly renewable as people think, because you have to get flint, you have to get rocks, and you have to get gold. And let's face it, 9 out of 10 times, flint, rocks, and gold are just not very renewable. So, you know, you can use items like, you know, walls, make, you know, stone walls and stuff. You can make other things with rocks that, honestly, at the end of the day, football helmets made with pigskin and spears are probably some of the most renewable items you can get early game. And of course, if you get enough meat, or if you have a pretty sufficient farm for meat and stuff, aka with pigs and rabbits or bunny hutches, then obviously, you know, Wigford spears kind of become out of date, because let's face it, a handbat is stronger than a Wigford spear. And, I mean, it's also stronger than a spear by far. But, I mean, also, you know, you have tentacle spikes, you have the dark sword, and if you're playing Shipwreck, you have the Cutlass Supreme. So, I would highly recommend doing those. Then I would develop 2 electrical doodads, 5 cut stone, and, of course, a alchemy engine. Now, and then, of course, if you have the chance to create a log chute, which is 2 ropes and of course 8 logs. But yeah, with that being said, I mean, you know, those are the things you want to create. Other things you want to create that are on your list I would recommend are, for instance, the thermal measurer, so you can tell when it's winter, summer, or, you know, becoming autumn. And of course also developing the rain meter, I believe it's called, and a lightning rod. These are all things that you should develop early game, and I would highly recommend you develop them early game, just so that you can, of course, you know, survive and, you know, have protection for your base. And you probably saw that I created a campfire pit earlier. Yeah, I'm going to be using that fire pit later on. I would highly recommend also developing that when you get a chance to. But, yeah, other items that I would develop early on are like the crockpot and a drying rack. Crockpots and drying racks are very, very useful, especially to keep your meat and other items lasting, and other items like fish lasting a little bit longer, as well as also turkey legs. They'll make turkey legs last a little bit longer. Crockpots, of course, if you haven't already noticed, are good for keeping yourself filled with good food rather than just food of peasant, aka, you know, eating whatever scraps you can scrounge up from a hunt or something. But yeah, with that being said, I will meet you guys back as we near the end of this episode, because at this point I don't think there's much to talk about other than trying to figure out what your base is, and also giving you some items that you should also develop, like a shovel. I would recommend a shovel to be developed. But other than that, I mean, the rest of it is exploring the map and trying to get an idea of where your base will be. Obviously, planning where your base and where you want to live is a good idea. Right now, we're leaving that as a temporary base and just a place to develop all of our early game items that we will be using for when we do come to our base. But with that being said, I mean, there's obviously not a whole lot to be said. So I will meet you guys back to give you an idea of what you should gather, and just to kind of close out this part of the episode. So yeah, let's go ahead and close out this part of the episode after when I get back, everybody. Alright, so we're back. I've been exploring the map for a little while, and I thought we'd finally recap what you need to do as far as gathering your items. Once you get to this point, it's a matter of figuring out where you want to have your base and where you want to place your base. As you can see, I've been exploring the map trying to figure out where the Pig King is. And as you can see, I finally found him, but I found no Glommer, so I don't know where Glommer is. But Glommer is another task for another day. Anyway, let's finish out today's video on what you need to gather as far as your last minute items go before you really go in full mode of building your base, which we will cover how to build your base in the next part. As you can see, I gathered some gears, which I will explain later on in the next part. But let's go ahead and go over what you need to officially gather once you gather maybe the charcoal for your crock pot. You're going to need to burn some trees to gather some charcoal for your crock pot, as well as your drying racks or drying rack. And other items you'll probably want to try to gather are as follows. You want to gather at least 20 grass tufts. Now, I know many YouTubers, many other Don't Starve players will say, gather as many grass tufts as you can because the resources are going to be everywhere. But in my opinion, you never know if tragedy will strike. In my opinion, you never know tragedy will strike. Let's say you don't have enough lightning rods and tragedy strikes and burns your whole farm down. Well, now all of a sudden, how are you going to regather or regain yourself or recompose yourself from that kind of a tragedy if it strikes? Well, that's where gathering only 20 of every resource will come in handy. I mean, you don't need a surplus of resources. I know many players on Don't Starve kind of think, I have to have a surplus of resources so I never run out, and then I can survive indefinitely. Well, in my opinion, only having 20 grass tufts, 20 saplings or twigs, and 15 to 20 berry bushes is going to last you a lifetime. You know, sure, it means that you'll have to gather a little bit more, and sure, it means that you may have to end up taking a few more trips to your farm or whatever. But in my opinion, nothing lasts forever. Remember, nothing lasts forever. You can't just pickle things in the original Don't Starve. Oh wait, that's right, it is a mod. Yes, pickling things is a mod on Don't Starve. I will probably showcase that later on. But realistically, let's face it, if you're playing on console, you can't just pickle things on Don't Starve. So nothing really lasts forever. This is why I tell y'all, 20 twig saplings, 20 grass tufts, and 15 to 20 berry bushes, that ought to last you a lifetime. That honestly ought to last you a lifetime, especially if you know good cooking food. If you know good food, then that should last you a lifetime on the filler. You know, as for pig houses, I mean, make as many pig houses as you want. Pigs are farmable. I mean, you can live off meat stew every day of the week. And heck, meat stew, you know, there ain't many people who can really take full advantage of meat stew. The only person who can really take full advantage of meat stew, because it has over 150 hunger, and it fills you up for 150 hunger every time, is Wolfgang. But other than that, there's hardly anybody who can really take full advantage of meat stew. But we'll talk about recipes and food later on, aka crockpot cooking later on. But in today's video, this will be the end of this part. Just remember, gather up the 20 berry bushes, or 15 to 20 berry bushes, gather up 20 saplings, and gather up 20 grass tufts. That should be way more than enough for you to live off of, and for you to survive when it comes down to your survival on Don't Starve. But with that being said, thank you everybody for joining me today on this video. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, you know what to do. Hit the like button, get subscribed, hit the bell notification, because I know you want to know when my next video drops next. Thank you everybody for joining me today. Thank you for watching today's video. Thank you for being here. And yeah, if you like this video, with that being said, I'm live on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/FA_IEYE. And I'm live on Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday for sure. But lately I've also been live on Monday and Tuesday. Monday and Tuesday are usually about 2 to 3 hour stream. But lately Wednesday and Saturday have been about 4 to 5 hour stream. Thursdays I usually do a little bit of a short stream. But yeah, with that being said, thank you everybody for joining me today on this video. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for being here. And yeah, until the next one, everybody, this is FAI or I signing out and saying farewell, everyone.